This is how I copied the best pro swings in the world and cut off 7 strokes from my score. Hey, my name is the Kiwi Coach. I'm an American golf instructor that lives and teaches here in Japan, and this is my story of how I lowered my score with just my phone in the American PGA swing. See, my biggest issue was I was never consistent on the course. Sure, I could hit some great shots that made me look like a tour pro. However, the next shot, I could hit a shot that made me look like a mid to high handicapper, and then oftentimes it would take maybe 10 shots just to go hit another good shot. I can still vividly remember standing on the first tee, standing over that golf ball, and just knowing in a couple seconds, I'm probably gonna have to go get another golf ball and re-tee. I just knew this could not continue if I wanted to play golf at the level I wanted to play at. Clearly, something was wrong with my golf swing, but I just didn't know what was wrong. I had tried lessons, but just ended up with too many swing thoughts. I had tried training aids, but as soon as I take that training aid off, the swing just goes right back to where it was before. I had tried drills, I had tried smoother tempo, everything that you could possibly think of that you're probably trying right now as well. I had tried all of them and just nothing seemed to work. So at this point, just out of pure frustration, I thought to myself, if I had forgotten everything that I've learned so far about the golf swing, if everything was just gone, what would be the most logical first step I could take to actually better my swing? And this is when I made my first good decision. I thought to myself, there are actually people in this world who are hitting the golf ball exactly how I want to hit the ball. So why shouldn't I just not copy them? This reasoning completely changed my golf life. The first challenge I had to overcome was, well, who do I copy then? Should I copy someone with a similar body type as mine? Should I copy someone with a similar shot shape that I'm trying to hit? Should it be maybe the mentality? What should I choose? Who should I pick? To make a long story short, I ended up picking a pro, and after 6 months, these were the results. Very simply, my swing had gotten worse. And not just a little bit worse, much worse. So now I'm posed with the question, well, what did I do wrong? When I look at my golf swing, it looks like this pro, so why am I not getting the results of the pro? After a bit of reflection, I realized I'm probably not going to be able to copy just one pro swing. See, every pro has unique movements that are natural to them. Maybe it's going to be a certain body movement, or maybe it's going to be a certain kind of club shaft movement, but it's natural to them. So when I'm trying to copy everything that they do, some of those movements that they're doing is not going to be really natural for me, and they're kind of difficult for me to implement. Hence, I was not really able to fully do their swing exactly the way they were doing it. Of course, now I'm thinking to myself, well, I have to change my approach. I can't just keep doing this because obviously my swing is even worse now and I want to get better. So I thought to myself and had my next brilliant idea. And the idea simply was, well, what if I were to analyze more than just one pro? And better yet, maybe analyze the best pros in the world who are doing what I want them to do and see, is there movements in the golf swing that they all are doing? Or at least they're all very similar in what they are doing. Because if I could identify those, probably most likely, those should be movements that if I copy, I'll probably get a whole lot better. This reasoning proved to be more than true. Through my analysis, I was able to narrow down 10 major positions that these pros are doing. And when I started to analyze their swings, I found more and more throughout these positions that their movements are actually quite tight. Sure, from pro to pro, the swings are going to be different, yes, but there's a really tight range that all of them were within. Even better yet, I was able to draw lines and angles using a free swing analysis that you could literally just download on the App Store on my phone, and I now had a simple way to check my own swing and compare it against these ranges that these pros are within. I was starting to find the American PGA swing. Naturally, this led me into my next obstacle, which was, okay, I understand these 10 major positions. I understand what are the checkpoints within these, but which one should I change first? There's quite a bit of checkpoints here. There's lots of movements that maybe I need to change. How do I know which I should change first and which is best for me? At this time, this is when I found a book from Jim McLean that was called The Corridors to Success. And really the main point of the book was that the areas of the OK zone are typically larger throughout the backswing than they are on the downswing. So I thought to myself, if this is the case, most likely the backswing's probably easier for me to fix, right? Because there's that wider range. So why not just start with the backswing? So now at this point, I had known everything I needed to know about the checkpoints and the ranges, and I had all of that on paper. I had exactly what I wanted to fix first, and I had a clear order of what to change. The next problem that came up was, okay, I know all of this, but how do I actually shift my swing? I've been able to do it in the past, but clearly I haven't been able to do it incredibly successful. So is there something I'm missing here? Like, what do I not know about actually changing the way my swing looks? At this time, this is when I stumbled across a concept that is called motor learning. Very simply, it's the science behind how the body moves. And a part of this concept is, how to actually shift the way your body moves. And I thought to myself, this concept is actually quite interesting. And I don't really see it being directly applied to golf whenever I watch YouTube or any type of content about golf instruction. So what if I could take the concepts from this motor learning and apply it to changing the golf swing? Would I actually get better results? Would it be quicker? Would it be easier? Here's kind of what happened. So leveraging a specific concept of the motor learning, which is called feel versus real, I quickly understood that changing your swing was actually a lot simpler than I thought before. Clearly before in lessons, I was always taught drills or I always was given a training aid. And it was really feel-based and it was kind of vague in terms of the whole changing your swing process. Like, just do it and eventually over some period of time, your swing is going to shift, right? Which never really ends up happening. So with this feel versus real concept, what I quickly learned was the first step in it is whatever issue, whatever motion you're trying to change, you need to identify the direct correlating body part. So to give you an example of this, let's say I'm at my top of swing position. In my old swing, I was a little bit more across the line at the top, and this was something I wanted to change because I found that these elite pros were in a much tighter range than I was, and they're a little bit more closer to this laid off position that I wanted to get. So I was thinking to myself, okay, well, which body part is directly correlated to that? When you look up online or if you look in these forums and you see people talking about it, oftentimes they're going to talk about, hey, if you move your body this way, if you rotate this way, tilt this way, etc. And what I ended up finding was, that's not really the direct body part that correlates to where the shaft is moving. I just very simply and logically kind of picked up a club, started to kind of move my hands, and I was like, well, this is what's making the shaft move, right? And if I move this way with the wrist, the shaft goes in towards the cross of the line. If I move this way with the wrist, it goes in the opposite way. So what I found there was the wrist is the direct correlating body part. And that's the first part about feel versus real, is really understanding which body part is actually affecting it. The next concept of feel versus real is very simple. We have the body part we're trying to change. And the logic and the reasoning simply is, well, if I move my body part in the opposite direction of what it's currently doing, there's a good chance that it's probably going to shift. Now, what we find that most of you guys struggle with, and myself as well when I first started this, was you never fully do the amount in the opposite direction enough. You get up to your top of the swing and you're like, okay, obviously I know I need to move my wrist in the different direction, and you just move it a little bit of an amount, just enough to where it feels a little bit uncomfortable, but you're like, I can probably still hit the golf ball and that should be plenty. And then you look at your golf swing, you analyze it and you're like, wow, my swing didn't shift at all. And then you get a little bit nervous, right? Because you know that the actual amount that you need to shift it is so far the opposite direction that you probably feel like you can't even hit the ball. And this is exactly the next obstacle that I came into, which is more so a mental obstacle. You understand what you have to do, you know the ranges, you know the actual way to fix it. But then there's that last mental hurdle of just thinking to yourself, I'm going to have to feel so crazy that I'm going to miss the golf ball. And then you start thinking about your next round. I'm about to go play with my buddies. They're going to start laughing at me if I start to miss the ball and I can't even, advance the ball down the fairway. People are going to be seeing me. This is going to be embarrassing. And then all of this gets to the point to where you're just like, maybe I just shouldn't fix this. Maybe I should just go on SNS and, maybe there's some training aid that I just need. Yeah, maybe that's the right way. And I wish I could tell you right now that in my personal story, I was perfect. And I was like, no, I'm not going to let that affect me. And I'm just going to go straight and do the work that I know I need to do. But to be honest, I was just like you guys. And what ended up happening was I went into this vicious cycle of where I would start to do the training aid again, or I'd start to find some random tip. I'd start to do it. Maybe my swing gets a little bit better. But the next thing you know, I'm hitting it worse again. And I kept on going through the cycle and I never quite fully committed to this feel versus real concept, the second part of it, of really extremely doing the opposite motion. And because of that, it literally took me probably 2 years longer to get the swing that I wanted to get. So eventually you just get to this point to where you're just so sick and tired of going through that vicious cycle. You're just so mad at yourself. You feel depressed and you're just like, am I ever going to get better? That finally you get to the point where you commit. And when I got to that point, yes, of course, probably for the first 50 to 70 swings that I hit, I was actually missing the golf ball when I was trying to commit to this extreme feeling. However, what I found, and I told myself this as well, just give yourself at least 500 balls and see what happens. And lo and behold, pretty much right around the 100th ball, I actually started to hit the ball. And then on the 150th ball, I actually started to hit the ball in the sweet spot. And then by the 200th ball, I actually started to see that my dispersion was actually getting a little bit better. Now, it wasn't amazingly better, right? Because I was just fixing the first thing, but it was definitely starting to get better. And then over time, as I started to change more and more of these 10 major positions, I started to see the same results. And better yet, this whole feel versus real concept, the mental block, was easier and easier to overcome because I had done it before, and my dispersion started to get tighter and tighter and tighter. I was creating my elite American PGA swing. Now, the very interesting point, which I know a lot of you guys struggle with, and honestly, I also struggle with this quite a lot as well. You can do this maybe on the range. Maybe some of you guys are at this point where you can see those results, but then obviously when you get to the course, they just seem to disappear. The interesting part was, though, when I did this specific process where I was filming my golf swing, I was trying the feel versus real. I was kind of guessing to see if I did it correct or not, and then checking my phone to see if it actually was fixed. I found something very interesting on the course. I could actually start to feel really small changes in my golf swing. And the funny part was, even if I had my buddy film me, I could literally tell my buddy exactly what the issue was, and he would check my swing and agree with me and be like, yeah, you're actually correct. And what I found was, through this process of doing this feel versus real, I was actually able to feel small movements and actually shift those movements on the course without the help of the camera. If you guys remember before, I could hit one bad shot that made me look like a mid-high handicapper, and it would take almost the rest of the round to get back to a good swing. What I ended up finding now was I would hit one bad shot, and almost 90% of the time or more, the next shot was a pretty good shot, which means I self-corrected much quicker, which if you take a look at these elite pros and you watch them play, that's exactly what they do. Next thing you know, I was able to lower my score by 7 strokes with just my phone and the American PGA swing. So nowadays, I'm actually giving golf lessons, and I've taught thousands of golfers just like you this same process in the lessons. And the results are just as good as mine or better. If you want to see some of those results, you can simply, after this video, scroll down on this page, take a look at some of our before and afters, some of the testimonials, and you'll see for yourself. This process, this system, the American PGA swing, it really does work. So for you guys watching, I know a lot of you guys just probably can't make it to my lessons. Maybe you live too far away, maybe you're too busy, my lessons maybe are a bit expensive, maybe that's the reason, but you still want to get results. You still want to get better on the course. You want to enjoy golf more. So how can you do this? This is exactly why I created this American PGA Swing Starter's Guide. I have taken my process, eliminated all the mistakes, by the way, and I've refined it down into a PDF that is simple to read with pictures, just like a magazine, and simple for you to actually start the same process that I took to lower my score by 7 strokes. And you don't need to take a lesson to get it. Wherever you have service, you can access it because it's a PDF, and you can always refer back to it when you're on the golf course and when you're working on your golf swing, and you're going to have a clear image, just like I did, of the 10 major positions, of the checkpoints within those major positions, the order of what to fix, how to actually fix it, and we even go all the way and show you how to fix your first position by showing you the direct correlating body parts, the feel versus real, and all of that. So you're probably thinking to yourself right now, it sounds like this might be a pretty expensive guide. And you might be shocked at the actual price. For less than the cost of dinner for 2, you can get this guide today, And as soon as you purchase it, within 1 to 2 minutes, it's going to be sent directly to your inbox, and you can start to actually learn the same process I took to lower my score by 7 strokes. And better yet, we offer a 1-year money-back guarantee. You just simply have to email us at KiwiGolfJapan@gmail.com. We also give you our phone number on the checkout page so you can actually message us if you want there as well. We simply just have the guarantee for you there, just in case you actually read this PDF, you start to implement what we tell you, and you're just not getting results and you don't like it. We give you that 1-year guarantee to where you can get all of your money back for that reason. So if you guys are watching this in your home, or maybe you guys are on the train watching this, or possibly even driving, which by the way, if you're driving, maybe don't watch this later, but wherever you guys are at currently, and you're thinking to yourself, I really like what you said in this video. This sounds exactly like something I might need. If you're thinking that to yourself right now, this is the best way, the best process that you're going to find anywhere throughout Japan and maybe even the world to start to improve your golf swing and get consistency on the course. So if you're ready to start learning how to lower your score with just the phone and the American PGA swing, anywhere on this page, click one of these orange buttons that you see. That's going to take you out to the checkout page. You can read some information there, fill out the checkout form. We accept all major credit cards. We have Apple Pay, Google Pay, Link. Check out with ease. You have that guarantee, and start the process today. Don't procrastinate, right? Start today learning your American PGA swing, and let's lower your score and make this year the best year on the golf course.